Houses are so expensive these days. When I'm scrolling through listings in my area and I see rundown homes selling for like $350,000, it makes me think of a simpler time in, say, the 1960s. Psychedelic tie-dye shirts, outrageous bell-bottoms, groovy go-go boots, and homes that were selling for $11,900.
Are you serious?
Okay, yes, if you adjust that for inflation, it would be a little over $100,000 by today's standards, but still, that's a pretty affordable home. Now, does this mean that buying a home in the year 2022 is impossible? No, it's still definitely possible, but there are a plethora of different costs that you need to prepare for if you want to go out and buy a home.
You must prepare yourself.
Even if you guys aren't planning on buying a home this year, even if a home purchase is many years down the road for you, I want you to be super duper knowledgeable on all of the costs involved when buying a house, because there's quite a few of them. And I want you guys to be informed and confident home buyers when the time comes. So let's talk about what the true cost of buying a home actually is. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Arena. I'm a real estate agent in Oregon, and here on my channel we discuss all of the latest news and developments in the world of real estate, the workforce, and the economy at large. I also do love to post vlogs documenting my experience as a real estate agent. I have a whole playlist dedicated to that on my channel, so if any of that sounds interesting to you, definitely be sure to subscribe and turn on your bell notifications so that you never miss a future upload. So all of the information that I'm going to cover with you today is the same information that I give my buyer clients during our initial consultation. It's really important for me that a person is very knowledgeable and confident when going into the home purchase process, because I don't want there to be any surprises, and I want you to have the opportunity to wait and save if you have to, because I know that it can be kind of overwhelming to take on all of these costs at the same time. The first cost is probably one that you've already heard of a million times, and that is your down payment. I'm sure you've heard that your down payment has to be 20%, but that's not necessarily true. Your down payment could be as low as 0% for some very specific loans, or it could be anywhere from 3.5% all the way up to 20%, anywhere in between. Honestly, your down payment really depends on your specific loan type and what you want to do with your loan. Some people want to put more down upfront so that their monthly payment is lower, but oftentimes for first-time buyers, they just don't have all of that capital upfront. That is a lot of money. So it's much easier for them to actually get into their home with a lower down payment. Now, if you're a veteran or you're buying rural agricultural land, you can qualify for a zero money down loan. So either a VA loan for veterans or a USDA loan for somebody that is buying rural land. But that is not going to be every single person's situation. So if that is not you, chances are you are going to have to make some sort of down payment. So let's say you're buying a $300,000 home. If you want to put down as little as 3.5%, your down payment would be $10,500. If you want to put down 5%, your down payment would be $15,000. And if you want to put down 10%, your down payment would be $30,000. If you have a lot of cash on hand and you're wanting to put down 20%, that would be $60,000 as a down payment for this $300,000 home, which is a lot of money. Not everybody has that up front, which is why we have all of these different options. But it's really important to remember that if you put down anything less than 20% as your down payment, your lender, your bank, wherever you're getting your loan from, they're going to charge you something called PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. Basically, if you're putting down anything less than 20%, the bank is going to view you as a more risky borrower than the guy that was able to cough up $60,000 right up front. And so they're going to charge you PMI just to cover themselves. It's like insurance for themselves, basically. And usually PMI is around 0.5% to 2.5% of the loan amount. Freddie Mac estimates that most borrowers with PMI will pay around $30 to $70 per month in PMI premiums for every $100,000 borrowed. So it's not a ton of money, but it's still something to consider when you are trying to figure out what kind of a down payment you want to make. The next cost that you would have to prepare for is the cost of the home inspection. When you are under contract for a home, it is a very, very good idea to get it inspected. You may have heard of a lot of people last year waiving their inspections in order to make their offers appear stronger in an attempt to win in a multiple offer situation. But you guys, that is such a bad idea. I would not waive your home inspection. If you have to, if you're willing, you can say that you're not going to ask for repairs, but still do an inspection just for your own knowledge and peace of mind so that you know if there's anything seriously wrong with the home before you close on that purchase.
This whole house is falling apart.
The home inspection can be anywhere from $300 to $500. It is coming out of your pocket as the buyer, and if you decide to withdraw and not purchase the home after the inspection, if something crazy was unearthed and you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable with continuing on with that home purchase and you decide to rescind, which you can do within the inspection time period, you will not get that money refunded because unfortunately the inspection has already been done. You've already paid for it, so you do lose that money if you decide to withdraw. But in any case, it's really important to get that home inspection done. All right, now moving on to our next cost, which is the appraisal. This is really important because if you are getting a loan from the bank in order to purchase your home, they're going to send out a licensed appraiser that will assess the value of the home. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, why does the bank need to have a special person to come out and figure out how much my home is really worth? Well, that's because the bank does not want to lend you more money than what the home is actually worth. If in the case that you end up not making your mortgage payments, you're defaulting on your loan, the bank wants to have that security and peace of mind in knowing that they can then resell that home for the same amount as your loan or even more, so that they are able to recoup their losses. If they're not able to do that, they run the risk of losing a lot of money if you default on your loan. So basically, it's just the bank looking for some extra security for themselves and making sure that the home is actually worth what you want to pay for it. If you're offering $400,000 for a home and the appraiser comes in and says, this home is only worth $350,000, the bank is only going to loan you $350,000. So that's what an appraisal is. Now, how much does it cost? It can be anywhere from $300 to $600 on average. Again, that's coming out of your pocket as the home buyer. And there's no way of getting around this cost. If you're financing your home through a loan with the bank, they're gonna send an appraiser in. It's just part of the process. Finally, we've got closing costs. This is arguably the most confusing part of the whole thing, but I'm gonna try and kind of clarify it for you guys. Closing costs can be anywhere from 2.5% to 3.5% of the final purchase price of the home. And basically, this is sort of just encompassing all of these miscellaneous fees that are incurred when you're going through the home purchase process. So this can be escrow fees, also known as title fees. The title company is a third party that handles all of the funds once you're under contract and disperses them when the transaction closes. They also make sure that there are no liens on your property, that there are no missing mortgage payments for it, that there's no property tax liens. Basically, they make sure that the home has a clear title so that you don't have any unexpected costs when you become the owner of that house. So the escrow or the title company is really, really important, and they do charge a fee for their services. You'll also have lender fees, things like loan origination fees or discount points if you want to buy down your interest rate when you're getting your loan. You might also have to pay for homeowner's insurance, which is required by some lenders. Then there's PMI. If you put down less than 20% as your down payment, you will usually have to pay 1 year's worth of the premiums up front. Then you've got title insurance, which is a one-time fee in order to protect you in case the seller, for some reason, doesn't have full deed to the property. If there is, by any chance, some other owner out there that has rights to the home, that title insurance will protect you to make sure that nobody's gonna come out and take your home from under you. You'll also usually have to pay for 6 months of property taxes up front. That'll be encompassed in your closing costs as well. Then there's recording fees, which are paid to the city or county to record your deed in public records. The cost of the appraisal, which we just talked about, is also encompassed in your closing costs. And if you're buying a condo or a townhome or even a detached home that's part of a homeowners association or an HOA, you might also have to pay some HOA dues or even some HOA transfer fees up front, which are also encompassed in your closing costs. There's a lot of sort of random fees that can be included in your closing costs that I didn't talk about in my list just now, because really your specific closing costs are going to be very unique to your home purchase, but these are just some of the most common ones. And I know that sounds like a lot. I don't want you to be intimidated or freaked out. Again, usually your closing costs will be 2.5% to 3.5% of the final purchase price of the home. I've even seen it be less than 2.5%. It's really very dependent on your particular home purchase. But as a home buyer, you are able to write in your offer that you would like for the seller to cover 50% of your closing costs or even 100% of your closing costs. Now, to be completely honest with you, this isn't very common in today's market where sellers really have the upper hand. They generally have so many offers to choose from that if you're asking for closing costs, they're just going to pass your offer up for another more strong offer. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend asking for closing costs in every scenario in this market, but it's definitely an option that's out there. And I have known buyers that have been able to get closing costs at least partially covered, even in this hectic market. So there's always the opportunity to ask. So again, let's take the example of that $300,000 home. If you are paying 3.5% of the purchase price in closing costs, which is definitely on the higher end, again, I've seen it go a lot lower than that, you would be paying $10,500 in closing costs. Quick tip, when you are applying for your loan, make sure that you get a loan estimate within 3 days of your application so that you can at least get an idea of what your closing costs are most likely going to be at the end of that home purchase so that you can mentally prepare yourself for what that cost is going to be. If you guys want me to make a whole video talking about the costs that come during home ownership, things like property taxes, utilities, maintenance of the home, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to make that for you if it would be helpful and beneficial. Make sure to follow me over on Instagram, which is @ArenaD. I often show behind the scenes of my life on there. And of course, you guys know that I am a real estate agent in the state of Oregon. If you have any real estate needs, whether that's buying, selling, or investing in properties, all of my contact information is in the description box down below. I would love to hear from you and help you achieve your home goals. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week with a brand new video. Bye!